As a young girl, I'm dealing with heartbreak. It's like everyone has a say in that. Or if I'm anything, if a film doesn't do well, before I can only deal with it, everyone's already, given their opinion about it.
I think that we have very lax laws in India when it comes to data protection and cyber protection.
In the film, I could connect to everything because the universality of a broken heart, the need to want to raise your ex, no matter at what stage in life you're at, but loneliness. So these are just themes that you kind of connect to. So the film stays with you for much longer.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Quint and thank you for talking to me.
Thank you.
I'm going to start this interview with you. From the word go, the minute you watch the trailer, you're instantly hooked. It's not only because how relevant the story and the concept is, it's also because of the way you've chosen to tell it. It's called a screen life format, right? What was the reason for you to pick this format to tell this story?
Interesting. So I've been a fan of the screen life, and there's been a few of them made internationally. There's been Searching, there's been Missing, there's been Unfriended. They've all been produced by this gentleman called Timur Bekmambetov, who's a Russian filmmaker who made this incredible series of films called Night Watch and Day Watch.
Yes.
He reached out to me and said, do you want to do a screen life film? And I said, yeah, of course, because I love the format. I think Searching is like a masterpiece of the genre. And then me and Avi, the writer of the film, started to figure out stories, and we kind of came down on this one as something that we wanted to then kind of like tell, and really liked it because it was this really interesting thriller that spoke about AI and social media, and then over a period of time, because we started writing in the pandemic, it just it developed into something which is so much of a commentary on everything.
Yeah. So you have to keep adding as you go, I'm thinking, because lots has even changed in the last 3 years.
Exactly. So the joke that we've been saying is that we started writing it as a sci-fi film for the future. It's turned out to be a documentary about our life and times right now.
So how has this film really added to your craft as a director then? First time you're also attempting this format.
It's the first time I've done something in this format. It's the first time I've done anything on an iPhone. I mean, we've shot like 80% of the film on iPhones, on this computer kind of screen. I had a great time. I mean, part of the reason for doing this film is also because let's have some fun. Let's learn something new. I think that's been a good mantra pretty much for my entire life. So another one.
Yeah, and that only gives us better films. So it's okay. We're happy that you're following this mantra.
I'm glad to be of service.
Ruchikaa, when you're backing films, it's not just because he's directing it, right? I'm sure there are more reasons to back a film like this.
Surprise!
What are the other reasons that you back a project like this?
I mean, beyond the fact that it's Vikram,
Yeah.
I think he's always pushed the boundaries. He says it very casually, but to take this as a challenge to make the first screen life thriller.
Yeah.
And when they started writing it, it almost felt like something that would be in the distant future, then the near future, and something that at this point mirrors the lives that we're almost living. And very often we get told that, isn't this a very experimental idea?
Yeah.
But yesterday's experimental is actually tomorrow's mainstream, which is then we kind of, reinvent, reimagine. Like everyone's been talking about AI. There's no, why should we be left far behind in kind of talking about the perils of it, and at its core, even though it may feel like there's a lot of AI and there's sci-fi or it's a screen life, I think the questions become very very personal. A sense of identity, what it means, what privacy means, what it means to kind of how much do you open up, how much of your life is your own, and how much are you really in control.
But before I ask you more about the film, narrative around you is really changing. It's shifted drastically, right? What are the things that you are personally witnessing around you that makes you feel like, yes, there's a shift in the way people are viewing me?
I think a lot of people are saying how they thought differently of me and how they, kind of feel bad that they, put me in a box or judged me before some of my work, which I wouldn't say it feels like, wow, I did something, but it feels like, okay, there's growth and it's nice. But I feel like for me, the best thing, and that I first noticed it on Kho Gaye Hum Kahan, is when, young girls and boys, they come up to me and they feel represented or they feel seen or they feel like it's a personal story put out there. Because growing up, there were all these characters and movies that felt like home to me. Like, there was Jaane Tu Ya Jaane Na, and there was, Wake Up Sid, and all these movies that when I saw it, I was like, okay, I'm like this and my friends are like this. So there's certain movies that feel like comfort to you, and if any of my films can provide that to people, that feels really nice. So I feel like beyond the praise, when it's about genuine connection, that feels really nice to me.
You've been doing that with your last few projects. Yes, you have. But, talking about this film, we're all so dependent on technology, right? All of us sitting here can say that, yes, we are dependent. Are there character aspects from this film that you resonate with personally?
Yeah, I think with Nella's life being, a public talking point was something that I could really relate to, because there was something that she was dealing with personally, but then everyone else also had an opinion about it, and that I've, faced that at different stages in my life. if as a young girl I'm dealing with heartbreak, it's like everyone has a say in that. Or if I'm anything, you know, if a film doesn't do well, before I can only deal with it, everyone's already, you know, given their opinion about it. So I could really connect with the embarrassment and the loneliness she feels in a situation like that. Yeah.
The next question is to all three of you. You know, while you're a part of the project, you directed, you're acting in it, has your relationship with the world, the technology, social media, has that changed after being a part of this film?
It should have.
After I saw the film for a few days, definitely. And I think that's good enough. You know, it's a bit of a start. But I also think, you know, technology has made stuff so much more convenient, so much easier. It's just about being able to use it. Like we at Netflix, we've got, you know, your search recommendation, your engine that kind of throws up what you should be watching is something that we kind of rely on tech and on AI for, but never for the writing and never for the next big idea.
Yeah, like conscious choosing.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. But in the film, I could connect to everything because the universality of a broken heart, the need to want to erase your ex, no matter at what stage in life you're at, but loneliness. So these are just themes that you kind of connect to. So the film stays with you for much longer. You may come in because it's an experience and it's something you haven't seen before, but what you take from it is something that stays with you. And I believe that's the making of a powerful film from a powerful maker.
Yeah, he does that with all his films. I'm just gonna
Yeah, I
leave
know,
it
it's
at that.
like, yeah, see, we're just here to compliment Vikram.
Yeah,
Amazing he
yeah,
is and all of
yeah.
that.
He's also turning red now.
I know.
He's like, I was not ready for this.
I'm turning Netflix red.
What about you?
It's just a question of just being aware. Everybody kind of at this point in time knows the pros and cons and the pitfalls and the highs of social media. And so I just think as long as we're aware for ourselves that it doesn't come to a place where we are letting either our mental health or our physical well-being or safety kind of get compromised, as long as we're just aware of that. I think that all my research and stuff has just kind of taught me boundaries to be able to sort of like set when it comes to things. I wish that there was more that was being done by law. I think that we have very lax laws in India when it comes to data protection and cyber protection. And so I wish that was better, and you know, maybe that's something that go into the future. One can, if it's a conversation and if enough people know about it, you can start talking about it.
Yeah.
Then. But if it's just like zero awareness, then it's there. But that's not, again, our job is to be able to make you aware of it through the story.
Or at least start a conversation.
Or start a conversation, exactly.
Yeah. What about you? Has your relationship changed?
No. It's gotten worse, I think, honestly. But now I know what I'm doing wrong and I'm still doing it, so it's probably worse.
Really?
Yeah.
But are there changes that you'd like to make? What are those?
No, for sure. I think I'd like to be less dependent on my phone and just constantly need it around me all the time. But like, I make all these excuses like, oh, my work is on my phone, or like, you know, I need to like be in touch with people. But I can easily, and I should be easily able to be fine without my phone, but it's just excuses.
Yeah. You know, I think you said this film also kind of highlights the fact that we're all so lonely yet, right? We're also, but yet, very hyper-connected with each other.
Yeah.
But I really feel like a lot of people around me, the conversations we have is people are really living isolated lives in spite of being so connected.
Yeah.
Is that something you guys agree or experience personally as well?
It is. I mean, it's like not right now, but look around and see how many people on their phones right now.
Yeah.
You
They
can.
didn't even hear that you said that.
And they don't even know you're talking about that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's honestly, it's true. Go get into a bus, get into a train, get into an airport, a plane, anywhere else, and you can see the fact that people. I mean, that is, I guess, the place where you feel the most connected. It's
Sad.
tragic, but it's also true. And there is a certain amount of comfort that your device does give you. The moment this interview is finished, all three of us will take it. You'll see it.
Yeah. You know, it also has an upside, right? Like it's almost like the level, it's like leveled the playing field, right? There's been so much discovery of talent, of people. Like I feel like there's also been a bit of a boon in that sense, you know. I mean, not that we're encouraging it, but everyone's a reviewer now. Everyone's, you know, got an opinion, and some are good and maybe some aren't very flattering to what we do.
Also
but
not very
just,
good.
Yeah, I mean, like, but with the pitfalls, we're always talking about the pitfalls, but I also feel like, you know, it's just, there are so many people and things that I probably wouldn't have discovered.
It's true, but there's also a large democratization of filmmaking, for example. Like now.
Yeah, you know, some of the more interesting, you know, moments in this film are like when you see Nella just like be. Because you rarely get to see that, you know, when she's just like typing. Like it might seem mundane, but like you get to know so much about a person through that. And also when you like, suddenly there'll be a scene where she's selling something on, you know, her channel or like being her influencer self. And then you get to see the moment where she cuts out of that as well and her unsurety and stuff. So you can directly see how lonely it is. You know, you create this world and this bubble and you think you're actually connected, but you take your phone away and you're like, okay, how many people are actually my friends, you know? When you think about that, it's
Yeah, my God.
you know, everyone's like dwelling out talking about the amount of people who've come and told us that, like, listen, y'all have made a horror movie and stuff. Because for our times, it's a horror film.
Yeah. Also because it's so close to how we're living.
Yeah.
And then, you know, every project that anyone is a part of, you know, they walk away adding to their craft or taking experiences away from it. Not an experience, but what has the Control added to you as an actor, to your craft, working with a director like him?
I felt very uninhibited on this set because there were so many parts. When you watch the film, you'll see, like, I'm dressed up like Nella has this character which is her dad that she dresses up like. So she has like a wig and a mustache and a cap and she speaks like a man. And I was like, out of everything in the whole script, I was the most nervous to do that because I was also a little over-aware and conscious and like, will people think it's silly and, you know, what if it's not funny? These things used to constantly run across my mind, and then we just had so much fun doing it. Like in my workshops, I was just not being able to crack it. I was not getting it. But then on set, we wore the costume and we were just playing and it was so much fun. And I actually shot Bay after Control, so it helped me a lot in my comedy than in Call Me Bay, because I think all my inhibitions kind of shed in Control, all my fears, because literally the camera is up my nose in this movie.
God.
There's no, like, Kashyap messaged me after the film and he's like, oh, it's good to know that you have no vanity as an actress. And I'm like, okay, that wasn't what I was going for, but sure, okay. So yeah, it made me stop worrying about like all the silly small things and being so scared about what people will think or say.
Yeah, but I mean, being uninhibited on a set, it sounds like a lot to kind of let go of.
But it's so much
But where
fun
does that
once
come
you do.
from then? Because you also have to be extremely secured then when you're setting on a set like this.
Know that there's a time and place for everything. Like there will be films where you do have to look a certain way, but that you don't have to be like that in every film. And sometimes it starts coming in the way of your craft and your performance. Like constantly having a mirror shoved in your face, then you'll be like, oh, okay, actually no. Or like going back and looking at the monitor, it doesn't help me because I become really conscious and aware of my facial expressions, you know. So for me as an actor, this has really helped, you know, to kind of just let go a little bit and just play around, because it's okay to make mistakes and sometimes you don't know, you know, we have that luxury, you know, we're shooting on digital now, like we can shoot for however long we want to and no one's really losing money, I guess, or time. Maybe time a little bit.
Yes.
But yeah, so you can do it many times and sometimes some wonderful things happen in mistakes, you know.
Yeah.
There's one shot in the film where my mom is playing cards and like the cards just fly out of her hand, and I remember I got so annoyed because it was like the end of the day and I went and I picked up the cards. We didn't call cut and then we used it in the movie and it looks so nice like that, and the actual annoyance on my face, it comes through, and that would have never happened if we were trying to like perfect the shot.
My last question to all of you, again, because the subject is so close to home, what is the impact you're hoping that this film will have on your viewers?
25 million views in the first weekend.
That is okay, that's going to happen. That will happen.
See, I didn't say it, they did.
There is a lot to enjoy. There's a lot to think about. There is, in that sense, if you talk about the old Hindi films, it's the complete package. There is drama, there is tragedy, there is comedy, there is all that sort of stuff. And genuinely, and I mean it genuinely.
Romance, action.
Yeah, there's everything. There's literally sort of
There's
everything
also
in the film.
singing and dancing
There you go.
contrary to what people
She sang.
Yeah.
did a little
And
rap.
she's done. She's done like rapping
You'll
and
hear
she's sort of like
Today, tomorrow.
sung it.
Can you rap for us?
I mean, if I could remember it, it was fun to do.
All right, thank you so much for talking to me. Looking
Thank
forward to
you.
watching this
Thank
one. Thanks,
you.
guys.
Thank